morning, everyone. Nodal control coordination, the chapter which we have started last day, that to be continued today. I hope you remember we have started the chapter and done the primitive introductory session. The introduction continued with the evolution, how the nodal system appeared, what was the continuation. Now, what was like, if you remember, the neurons, brains, or the spinal cord appeared first time in which group of organism? Which? Platyhelminthes, Hydra, primitive. And when it came to the proper one, like with proper brain, proper spinal cord, which was the first group to have everything? Arthropoda, insect will have a proper brain with a spinal cord with everything, right? So here too we'll continue today with the mammalian system or the modern nodal system. So if we come to the nodal system, there are three parts. Like, so these three parts, if you remember from your class 10, that are the what? The brain and the spinal cord and the nodal tissue, exactly. So the nodal tissue, we are going to continue, we are going to discuss about all these three separately, individually, and then we'll have the coordination. We'll do it at the end. Okay, your NCERT book contains a small introductory part from here, which I'm skipping right now. Right now, we'll start with the nodal tissue, then the brain, then the spinal cord, then at the end of this entire one, we'll combination, how do they work, we will discuss. So starting with today, the topic, that is the nodal tissue. I know, this we are studying from our class 9. When the nodal tissue, what comes to us, the first thing that come to us as the cell, what are this? The neuron or the nerve cell, right? Neuron or the nerve cells. These we have studied from class 7 or class 8 or the details from class 9. But one extra thing which we have not studied, that we will continue, that are the glial cells. So what are these? We'll continue here, starting with the nerve cells. The nerve cells are the conducting tissue, you can understand. They are for conduction. They are the conducting tissue. Their purpose is to carry what? Impulse from one area to another area, right? So they are for conduction of impulse from one area to another area. Now what is this glial cell? If we come to glial, the glia what came from glue. Glue means inside this nervous tissue or this entire neural tissue, there are some cells which are responsible for gluing other cells. Okay, and they are responsible for giving protection to the entire things. They are the neuroglial cells. They are having different types. We are not going into the types. We do not have this in detail. But you know, one glial cells you have learned about it. Can you remember the Schwann cells? Yes, the Schwann cell is nothing but a glial cell, right? So here today we'll start with the entire detailed structure as well as their types in case of the nerve cells or the neurons. So again, going to class 9 and 10's knowledge. The neuron as single neural structure has three parts. Starting with cyton. Okay, starting with the first one. This is this part. What is this part? Cyton. Fine. The cyton or the cell body. Along with, they have some process. Look the way I am drawing it. Yes, some small processes they contain at the end. These are the dendrites here. We'll come to each and every details later. So here are the dendrites which are located. And a long process which moved down. This long process is axon, exactly. The long process is axon with some end. The end region also you have learned. Nerve endings, exactly. So this is the axon and the nerve ending. These part we have studied in our earlier classes as well. Now what extra? Now we'll move into the details of it, and that will be extra for us. First of all, starting with the cell body. It is nothing but a cell, right? It's nothing but an entire cell. So if it is a cell, it will have a normal cytoplasm. right? So they have a normal cytoplasm, but this cytoplasm has a different name as it is present inside a neuron. So it is the neuroplasm. Obviously, it is a little different from normal cytoplasm. Now, what is the difference? The difference is their nucleus is common. The nucleus does not have any problem. The nucleus is common, prominent, along with the nucleolus to be specified as well. The nucleolus is present. Now, around the nucleus, there are some organelles or some bodies are found. These bodies which are around them, this is known as the, yes, the Nissls granules. You can understand this is according to the name of the scientist, right? The Nissl granule is according to the name of the scientist. Now, what is this? This is nothing but some endoplasmic reticulum. Responsible for, what is the endoplasmic reticulum? If this is along with the ribosome, then they are responsible for? Exactly. So, this contains rough endoplasmic reticulum or RER, which is responsible for protein synthesis. What are these protein responsible for? We'll discuss in the nervous control conduction area, the next part. Okay, in next part you will understand why this RER is responsible for, what are they exactly doing. Now, if we move on to the next, the cytoplasms and other things are common. Every part is common except one organelle. One organelle, these neuron cells are not having, that you have learned earlier as well. Centriole or the centrosome, responsible for cell division. That means, so we may write that they are devoid of centriole. They are devoid of centriole. Now the question is, if they are devoid of centriole, that means they do not want to divide. Why do they do not want to divide? Definitely they have some purpose. These example I have given earlier as well, if you remember. That is, suppose if they are dividing, that means the older one need to die. If the older one is dying, the information which is stored in the older one, what will happen to them? That will be vanished as well, right? That is one of the reason. Number two reason, suppose I ask the last bench from here to send me something. What you can do, you can pass it to the next student, to the next student, to the next, to the next, to the next, and ultimately it will come to me, right? So there will be multiple junction created here, right? And it will take some time. Now, what if one student is sending at the center, enlarging his hand? I know it's not possible, but enlarging its hand, taking the thing from the corner and passing it to me. It will be much more faster, right? What are we doing? We are reducing the junction. And when we are reducing the junction, the process is becoming faster. That is the purpose. The neurons want to be enlarged, they want to be elongated. They need to be larger or rather longer, but they do not need junction. So they do not want to divide, they want to continue. Fine. So that is why the centrioles are missing here. Clear? Now moving on to the dendrites. So here we have the small processes which are the dendrites. Now, what is their purpose? The purpose of the dendrite is to accept the impulses from a primitive nerve, or probably it can be a receptors as well. They are responsible for receiving the nerve impulse and sending it to the cell body. So, something which is for receiving, if you remember from earlier chapters, afferent one, exactly. So, can we call them as the afferent one? So, they are the afferent processes which are responsible for receiving the impulse and sending it to the cell body, right? Now moving on to the last one, which is the axon. In case of axon, what is their purpose? You can understand they are responsible for transporting the impulse to the end. So as they are sending it from the cell to the end, from where it can be taken up by the next neuron, so they can work as a efferent process here. So the axon is also known as the efferent process. Fine. So this is how they can send it to the next neuron. So here the next neuron can stay, which can receive the impulse and which can send it to the further neurons for the conduction to happen. Now, if we move to this cytoplasm, they also contain a cytoplasm. They also contain, though this area I'm going to modify a bit again, but they also contain a cytoplasm. But the cytoplasm is little different. Yes, I'll come to you. The cytoplasm is little different from this area, right? And which part they are different, we'll discuss. But this cytoplasm, as they are little different, so we have a different name for them. If the cytoplasm here is neuroplasm, then in case of axon, it can be axoplasm. Simple. So it's the axoplasm. What is the difference? Everything is same except they do not have something. What are these? Number one is Nissl granules. Number two, they do not contain the Golgi body as well. Now why? From cell chapter, can anyone say why? Why they do not have endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi body? I'm giving you a hint. It depends on the structural part. Yes. Number one and okay, so down, yes, you are right. That is this endoplasmic. If you go to their structure, they are membranous area. If they are membranous area, they will now definitely not fit in this region, right? So this membranous process, they are much more enlarged, much more elongated, which will not come here. So this endoplasmic reticulum along with the Golgi body are not present in this region, number one. And number two, their purpose is for protein production, which they have already done here. Now this protein to be useful here, that you will discuss, that you will understand the later lessons. Fine. So this pedia, the axon, does not contain the endoplasmic reticulum along with the Golgi bodies. These are absent in this areas. Obviously, if it's a neuron, here in this axon area, we may have some specifications. Let us come to the next. That is, either the axon can be, I'm drawing it in a straight line, right? Either the axon can be simply like this. The axon can be simply in a straight line manner without any modifications, or the axon can have some covering around it, right? These covering, whether they are having or not having, accordingly they are differentiated in two groups. So what are these group, and why are they responsible? That we need to discuss. So for this, we are coming back to our diagram again. If it's an axon, if it's a structure, they must have some protections. Okay, every protection is a plasma membrane, and the plasma membrane has a word lemma. So if it is covering the axon, then what it can be? Axolemma. So the covering of this axon is the axolemma, which covers the entire one. Now in some of the axon, not others, as you can see in this area, in some of the axon, they may have an external fatty layer, which is a kind of a lipid layer, shiny lipid layer they may have. And these shiny lipid layer, if they are located around, this is the myelin sheath. This is the myelin sheath. You can see I have drawn one axon here, one here. Both are not having the myelin sheath. That means either the neuron can be myelinated or it can be non-myelinated. So this is a difference. It's a myelinated one. It's a myelinated one. It's a non-myelinated one. This one is the myelinated, this one is the non-myelinated one. Now, what is the myelin sheath? This is nothing but a fatty or lipid covering which protects the nerves all around with some gap. You can see there are some gap, right? With some gap, they are located. Now, if this myelin sheath are present, they give the action a shiny appearance. These neurons which are having myelin sheath, they look little shiny in nature. Some of the areas, so this is what? This is my myelin sheath. And some of the area where the myelin sheaths are absent, this part is known as the node of Ranvier, again by the name of the scientist who discovered it. Like here we have drawn the Nissl granule now. Nissl granules is also from the Nissl, scientist Nissl, from here the name came. Here is also the node of Ranvier, came from the name of the scientist. Now these area I am going to modify. Before that, if the myelin sheath is located or not located, what advantage they get? Achha, what is the purpose of this axon we have just discussed? Transmission of nerve impulse. How does it occurs if the myelin sheath is not present? Then it is from point to point. Suppose here is a point, drawing just above, there is a point, so the nerve impulse which transport, they transport from one point to another point like this. Just one point to another point. But if we have a myelin sheath, then this nerve impulse transport occurs from one node of Ranvier to another node of Ranvier. So you can understand this is much more faster. This is much more faster process. Where are they located? What is their conduction? We'll discuss just after this when we'll come to the type of it. Then we'll discuss, right? Again, here I am modifying this part once again. Just once again, these area, I'll show a cross section to make you understand how these myelin sheaths are actually protected or actually located. So, this is my axon and the fluid. The fluid is axoplasm. The fluid is axoplasm. It is covered with a membrane known as axolemma, you know. Now, along with that, around this, if the myelin sheath is present, so the myelin sheath is somewhat like this. Somewhat like this, the myelin sheath is located, right? Now, who is responsible for secretion of the myelin sheath? Number one. And number two, do we have any other covering? So, if the myelin sheath is located, around it, we have another covering, and that covering is known as the neurolemma. Neurolemma is the ultimate covering which may have a specific cell, not may have, obviously they should have a specific cell. And what is that? That is, yes, that is the Schwann cell. These we have already discussed that it's a neuroglial cell, right? So a Schwann cell responsible for the protection or the production of this myelin sheath is located at this area. So this area is my myelin sheath. Fine. Now, with this we came to almost the end of this structure. That is just the junction. You can understand in this junction the myelin sheath are not located or myelin sheath is not deposited. This junction is node of Ranvier. Ultimately, when we come to the end of this, that is the nerve ending or the end bulb. These, I hope you can remember from your class 10. These area has some specific things for the conduction. Neurotransmitter and a specific organelles, if you can remember. Anyone? A specific organelle responsible for conduct. Yes? Mitochondria, very good. So this nerve ending, which is having a bulgy region, contain the neurotransmitter for the transport, along with the some little more amount of other organelles are definitely present, some more amount of mitochondria here, responsible for this conduction. Now, with this discussion, can anyone specify the difference between these cell body and the axon?
The nasal cells are not.
Yes.
The nasal granules are present in the cytoplasm.
Yes. You said just the opposite. Okay, yes. So if we come here, you are right. That is in case of cell body or the cyton, the nasal granules are present or located. But when we come to the axon cell, the nasal granules along with the Golgi bodies are absent here. Fine. So this is about the structure. Now if we come to the, is this structure clear? Is this part clear? If this is clear, now we have to continue with the types a bit. The one type you have already learned. What is that? The myelinated and non-myelinated one. So let us come to the next area, that is, what are the types of neuron? Types. You can see the types are of two bases. One basis is whether a myelin sheath is located or present or not. So, if it is present, we can call it as a myelinated one, myelinated one. If it is not present, it's a non-myelinated one. These we have already studied just at the above part. Let me continue with a small amount of image. That is, if it is present or not present, how does it look like? So, this one. Okay. This one is not opening. No problem. This is not opening. Forget about it. No issue. Fine, no issue. It's not opening. What is the myelinated one? Okay, let us come back here. The myelinated one, the non-myelinated one. In case of myelinated one, a myelin sheath is protected or present. In case of non-myelinated, it is not present. Now, where are they located and what is about their speed? If the myelin sheath is located or present, they can conduct the nervous impulse. The speed can be up to around 150 meter per second, right? They can conduct the impulse up to 150 meter per second, 120 to 150 meter. If it is non-myelinated, then 0.5, very small to maximum 10 to 20 meter per second. So you can understand the speed can be increased up to 15 times, or maximum it can be increased up to 50 times, right? They can increase the speed up to 50 times here. Now the location, if it is non-myelinated, all our somatic cells. Acha, what is the somatic cell? Body cell. All our somatic cells, somatic neural system, autonomic nervous system, these all contains a non-myelinated one. Because this, I know this is 10 meter per second, which is quite fast. This can work here. But when we come to myelinated one, this is present in our, yes, this is present in the brain and the spinal cord, because these area we require a much more faster transmission. Fine. Now another thing, you can see another difference is here as well. Another difference which we have is on the basis of their process they contain. The typical neuron which we have drawn, that's just a typical type. According to their number of process, they can have different types. Okay, that is, the different types starts from unipolar to bipolar to multipolar. We have the picture, we will see it. Before that, let me explain. What is unipolar? You can understand just a cell body and a process. Fine, just a cell body and a process. This is unipolar. If I come to bipolar, a cell body, one axon, one dendrite or a dendron. That's a bipolar, simple type. Multipolar, one cell body, multiple here, that is the dendrite and the axon. Multiple process, this is the line diagram only. Obviously, it does not look like that. How does it look like? For this, let us see the image of the unipolar, multipolar and bipolar. How does this exactly look like? So these are dependent on their process. How many processes? What are the processes that they contain? So, here we come. There's another type though which we call as the pseudopolar, which we'll discuss later. So, neuron based on their structure. Is this picture clear? Not much clear, I guess. Not much clear. Okay. If this is not much clear, no problem. I'll show you once another. That is, look at this one. Just an axon, just a cell body and an axon, right? So this is just a single process which continues, and this one is the unipolar type, and this is usually present in the embryonic stage. Fine, these are located in the embryonic region. Now when we come to pseudopolar you can understand कि this is axon and dendrite and the cell body is located around. Fine, and finally we come to the bipolar. In case of bipolar, there are two processes. One process, we have the axon, another is the dendrite, and centrally located is the cell body. Now finally, this is the most common type that we see. Most common type that we have drawn already before some time as well. And what is that? This is multipolar, where we have multiple branches. Like I have drawn here, though this is a very basic diagram you can understand, still I have drawn there. It's a very basic diagram. That is, from the cell body, multiple branches arises, which are the dendrite, and here from there a single nerve ending or simple axon arises. So what can they do? They can take the impulse from various areas. They can take the impulse from various areas and can pass it to another one, right? So depending on their function, depending on their structure, we have multiple. Another type is there. This is according to their structure. According to their function, another type is there. Can anyone say? It depends on from where are they transporting.
Motor.
Yes, exactly. Very good. So another type is there. Another type, it depends on what are they transporting. Let us continue this along with the images. So here, I guess this image is clear. Is this? Fine. Look at this. This one is the central nervous system. Fine. Central nervous system means brain or the spinal cord. So you can understand one neuron is sending something towards the central nervous system. Another one is receiving something from the central nervous system. So depending on their function, there can be motor neuron or the sensory neuron. If it is motor neuron, what is their function? You can see, acha, what are the purpose of dendrites? Receive the stimulus, right? So, look, these are the dendrites. What are they doing? They are receiving the stimulus. From where? Central nervous system. Sending it where? To the other part. Can be organs. So, what is the function of this motor neuron? They are responsible for receiving the impulses from central nervous system, brain or spinal cord, and then send it to the various part of our body, organ, other system. Now, if we come to this one, this is the sensory. What are they doing? They are receiving impulse for various parts and they are sending it to the central nervous system. Fine. So what can we conclude? So we can conclude, if it is a sensory one, it receives the impulse for various area, send it to the CNS. If it is a motor, it receives from CNS, send it to the various parts of our body, right? So this difference is based on their function. So what can we conclude in the entire one? Let us come to the conclusion. That is, just this is a summary box. For last 5 minutes, let us come to the summary box. That is, our neural system contains 3 area, brain, spinal cord and the neural tissue. If I come to neural tissue, there the nerve cells are the glial cells. Glial cells means responsible for protection and holding them as well, right? Now coming to the structure of the neural tissue or the neurons, they are having 3 parts: the dendrites, the cell body and the axon. Dendrite responsible for
Receiving the signals.
yes, cell body responsible for processing it, and the axon responsible for transmitting it. The cell body contains all the normal organelles that they have as usual. And finally at the nerve ending, we have some bulging regions which are responsible for what? What do they contain? Neurotransmitter responsible for sending it, right? Now according to their various location, we have various types, starting with the first one, whether they are having a myelin sheath or not. If they are having, they are myelinated, which is responsible for faster transport, and if they are not having, non-myelinated, slower transport. According to their process, whether they are having single process, double process or multiple process. If single process, unipolar. If double process, bipolar. Multiple process, multipolar. Third is according to their function. Whether what is their function, to which direction they are sending the nerve impulse. If they are sending it from the organs or from the sensory part to the brain, then they are responsible for, or they are known as sensory neurons. If they are sending it from brain to our body part, then they are known as motor neurons. Clear? So this is the structure along with the function and the type of the neuron.